So I'm the kind of person that will just buy something as soon as I have an idea, and this is another representation of that. This is a 12-volt automatic transfer switch. So essentially you have two power inputs, one power output, and it'll automatically prioritize one, I believe, but then switch to the other if the one does go offline. You may be wondering, what the heck is this for? This is for one of my solar setups, and it will basically, hopefully, take priority solar power, but then the backup power will be the auxiliary power coming from another solar setup. So part of the reason I'm needing additional power is because the winter is quickly approaching us, which means I'm going to need some kind of heater in these boxes because I don't want to just leave a battery outside in the winter in the freezing weather. So I'm going to hopefully be able to power a heater from this. This is a DC backup battery switching module for emergency power control. In layman's terms, it really just takes in voltage and then switches between the two. It says automatically switch to battery when main power is off. So that does confirm that theory. So there is a priority of the main power, and then if that does not work, it'll go to the other one. There will be a temporary power failure for about less than 1 second when it switches. So that's something to consider. If you need something that is like a quick switch over, not like long outage times like 1 second, you will need to find some kind of other solution, but for this we should be okay. I have hopefully successfully wired this up. Let me walk you through how it works again. I apologize for all of these cords. So the core, we've got the 24 to 12 volt step down converter. This will basically take the PoE in of 24 volts, step it down to 12 volts, feed that into our little device here that is the automatic transfer switch. It'll feed it into the battery input, which means it'll not go to that input unless the primary input actually loses power. So this is really cool because it'll allow us to essentially automatically switch between power sources without any intervention from me. And then finally on the back, we've got the load output, which will just take the output of the device and send it out to my network switch that is in that solar setup. So the next thing I'm going to do, I don't actually know what the wiring looks like there. I should know, I don't really remember. And I'm actually going to take some wire here and strip and get the wire ready. That way, in the event that I do need some more wire, I have wire with me. I don't want to go all the way to the solar setup and not have what I need. I already have a few pieces of wire here. I'm going to get these things ready, get them stripped and get them ready to go. And then we will head out to the solar setup, install this, and hope that it works. All right, so we've just arrived at the location. I'm going to grab all of my tools and hope and pray that I had everything I need. So assuming I've planned all of this out correctly, I should be able to switch everything over to this setup real quick and verify that it all works before proceeding to switching the line to send the 24 volt signal. Okay, so this is the box that has everything inside of it. The issue, I guess not really an issue, but just the obstacle we're going to have here is that everything goes into the wire nuts. Obviously, that's not going to work. So we're going to need to bypass the wire nuts. But in the meantime, I should be able to swap this Ethernet connection to test and see if this cable is working as expected. I do have another keystone that we actually will need, and I will plug the cable into the keystone. Let's try it out. Right now, I'm not seeing the camera online, which is annoying. And I just did get an alert from Unify that the camera is offline, which means the cable is not working as expected. So with that being said, so I'm going to do a little troubleshooting and we'll be back. Okay, so slightly bad news. Wow, this camera shot is terrible. There we go. Slightly bad news for this project here. The Ethernet cable that feeds this setup actually goes through this box for some reason, and I thought it went through this box, but it does not, which means because of the nature of what I'm doing, I'm essentially trying to split the input cable off before it hits the switch and stuff. Because of that, I'm going to either have to cut up this cable, bring it up into the box first, then output it through the box afterwards, which is probably the best solution, or B, do all of this stuff in this box and send back 2 wires to feed the 12 volt power, which sounds like an absolute pain in the butt. So I think for the ease of this project, I'm probably going to end up trying to pull a little bit more cable first, but then cutting and splicing this cable off into a kind of extension cord, if you will, that will go into this box, do all the processing it needs to, go out of the box into the other box. All right, so a little bit of an update. I just got all the cable spliced and ran through the box. Right now what I'm doing So I'm out here at the point-to-point link, and I am essentially, sorry if I have to blur a lot of stuff out. Basically, I'm going to open the box and going to repatch a few things inside of it. So most notably is going to be the connection out to the other box. I'm going to basically take that cable in, splice it, not splice it, but literally just plug it into the switch in here, which is going to allow me to send power out there. And this will be the final test on if my wiring is correct or not, because if the wiring is not correct, it could start a fire. Unfortunately, so far, not good. As soon as I plug in the cable, the other Ethernet lights go off on the switch momentarily, which is not good. So this could mean that something is actually wrong with the cable, like in terms of data, but what I think it means is that there's something wrong with how I spliced it. So so we're just going to take a look at that. I do think it is technically possible that I am backfeeding power from this setup into the other one, which would be highly unfortunate. Although I don't know. So we're going to check this out. Oh, it doesn't like that. I can't set my camera down. Trying to be quick because I don't have much time, which is really unfortunate. So with that being said, that might just conclude it for now, and I will come back another day to finish this project off. It's really annoying. It is now another day, as you can probably tell from the weather change. But I did want to share the bad news that I have, and that is that I don't think this is going to work really well. I think that the automatic transfer switch is working as expected, but there is an issue somewhere along the cable or something like that that's causing it not to function as intended. Let me explain. So basically we've got the box right here, and this is the cord that comes in from the other setup with the point-to-point link. And it does function as intended. It passes data along just fine, but what it does not pass along is power really well. So there is power that goes through it. I'm able to get some power, but not enough amps to run this setup. So when it switches this setup over to the other power, it actually drops down to about 3 volts, and that is no bueno. So obviously that is not good. It may work well if I'm trying to feed power to the point-to-point setup from here, but obviously I don't want to do that. So I don't know. I'm going to leave the transfer switch intact and maybe come back at this another day, see what I can do. Worst case, it may be a nice feature to have to continue using the transfer switch, but have it transfer over to some form of other battery or auxiliary power that we could use at this location. I don't think it'll work out real well to use power from the other setup like I intended. This is probably 500 feet away from the other setup, from the one that actually makes the power. So even though I am running 48 volts out to the point-to-point setup and stepping it down from there, it just doesn't seem super viable. So unfortunate news, but if this is something you try, please do let me know. This is something that I'm interested in, and it does seem very cool if it works, but obviously it does not work for me. So that's about all for this video though, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.